All right, what's up everyone? In today's video, we're going to talk about how med spas can eliminate price shoppers and Groupon buyers. So if you don't know who I am, my name's Josh. I'm the founder of Wellness Leads. I work with med spas and aesthetic practices, and I've spent hundreds of hours generating leads, calling leads, booking appointments for med spas and aesthetic practices specifically. I've booked hundreds of qualified appointments by this point. And so without further ado, let's just jump right into the strategies. So the big lead quality dilemma here, one of the most common complaints I hear from med spa owners is lead quality, right? So you have discount shoppers, Groupon buyers, time wasters, tire kickers, price shoppers. In other words, someone who you communicate with in some way that is only interested in your specials or your promotions. So whether this is someone who responded to an ad, someone that called your phone, somebody who you called from an ad, someone who actually came in for an appointment. This is someone in some capacity that you have deemed is only interested in the special or the promotion. They just want the cheapest price. This is like the instant gratification customer. So they believe that just this one treatment that you're advertising, just getting a single one of them is going to fix their problem entirely, or that they can just shop around for all of the deals in your local area and like piece together the result that they want. So they'll get 10 units of tox here, they'll get 10 units of tox over there, they'll go get a laser facial at this one and over there, and they're just going to piece together all of these specials to get the result that they want. So the question here is, do irresistible offers attract price shoppers? So if you watched my last video, which if you haven't, I would recommend doing so, but I discussed the importance of using an incredible, amazing, no-brainer offer in your advertising to attract leads, right? So we're going to advertise something that's incredible on the front end to attract individuals who are strangers to you and your business. But every time that I share this idea, I hear the same exact objection. That objection being, don't offers like this just attract price shoppers, right? Don't we get the Groupon buyers or the discount shoppers by using irresistible offers or something that's really incredible on the front end in order to get attention from the prospects in your area? Examples of like an irresistible offer in the med spa space would be something like 10 units of Botox for $97, including like bonuses, a consultation, a $49 body sculpting introductory treatment or like a demo treatment, plus some bonuses and a consultation. You get the idea, right? It's like a really incredible offer on the front end that we use in order to get complete strangers to stop scrolling and say, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I need to get more information on that, so that they submit their name, email, and phone number to become a lead that we can then follow up with. But the question here is, surely offers like this attract people who just want the promotion, right? Like if someone is scrolling and they see 10 units of Tox for 97, we're going to get people who see that and go, I'm only going to get the 10 units of Botox. That's all I want. I'm going to spend $97 and then never talk to this company again. Offers attract people like this, right? Well, the answer is yes, right? Irresistible offers do, in fact, attract price shoppers, Groupon shoppers, time wasters, and tire kickers. There is no doubting, it is inevitable that you will absolutely attract these types of individuals with an incredible offer like that. There is no denying that, and any marketer who says that you can use an irresistible offer or they have some special trick or method that just doesn't attract these people and it's only the perfect fit people in the first place, they're probably lying, right? But irresistible offers also attract people who would be a great fit, right? Why is this the case? Well, when we use an irresistible offer, so something that's incredible, usually it's a lower risk, high reward offer. So that means that an irresistible offer, it reduces the perceived risk for those who are genuinely interested in solving their problem, and it gives them an easy opportunity to test drive. So take, for example, if we ran an offer that was like 10 units of Botox for $97, right? Anyone who's been considering getting Botox, or, you know, they thought about it before, they went to somebody else in the past, they're now thinking, oh, okay, cool. Well, I'm not like, I don't want to commit to a whole big thing quite yet, but I can at least test drive it and like see if I like it first, right? And that's kind of the thought process that good fit, the right individuals would have when they see your crazy irresistible offer. It also motivates action, right? Irresistible offers give those who have been on the fence for a while that final push that they need to finally give it a try, right? So someone who's been considering it for a while and they're just like, oh no, I don't know, I'm not sure. And then they're scrolling on social media and they see your offer for Botox and they're like, all right, that's too good to be like that's just too good. Like, let's just give it a try, right? 3, even problem-focused people who will do anything to get their desired result love a great deal. This is the other misconception I see all the time, that affluent, rich people that are scrolling on social media, they don't like a good deal, right? They like to submit their information for high-end, high-quality, they don't submit their information for deals. But the truth is that people with money also love a great deal. And so you can absolutely attract the right affluent individuals with a great irresistible offer like this. And then also the perceived expertise, right? A bold offer framed in the right way signals confidence in your ability to get results. So especially if you say something like, hey, we're giving away 10 units of Tox at this price because we're so confident in our ability to get you incredible results that we want to give you an opportunity to give it a try. Right. So these 4 things, when all these 4 things combine, we can use irresistible offers to attract the right people. Are we going to attract some of the wrong people? Of course, right? That's marketing. You're always going to attract some of the wrong people, but you can absolutely attract the right people with an irresistible offer. And on top of that, let me just go back and forth here. On top of that, some leads might start as a price shopper, but an irresistible offer gives you the opportunity to wow that individual with your service and upsell them into a higher ticket package once they see the value that you provide. So in other words, we have the power to transform price shoppers into long-term clients, right? So even if someone starts off as a price shopper, that you have the ability or the power to run that person through a really excellent in-person sales process and set expectations and do some other things that I'll talk about in this video in order to turn that person into someone who is initially thinking, I only really wanted the special, but I really do think I want one of these packages now, or the treatment plan or whatever it is. Let's consider 2 scenarios, right? Scenario 1 is you use an irresistible offer in your advertising. So something that's just a complete no-brainer. It's a lower ticket, irresistible offer that anyone would say yes to, or anyone would feel stupid saying no to. You get a lot of leads from it because the offer is so good, right? You can expect to get more leads when you advertise an irresistible offer. And a percentage of those leads are inevitably shopping around on price, right? Because the offer is so good. Because the offer is so good, you're going to get people who shop around on price. Scenario 2 here is you use a mediocre offer in your advertising. Let's say you do like a free consultation or some boring offer, like a $500 off a package of 4 of a super high ticket expensive treatment. You get way less leads because the offer is just mediocre now. So you downgraded your offer with the expectation of getting better leads, which never makes sense to me, but you get way less leads and they're way more expensive, right? And a percentage of the leads that you do get are still shopping around on price, right? Which scenario would you prefer? One where you have lots of leads, but you have to deal with some price shoppers, or one where you have way less leads, but you have to deal with some price shoppers, right? I've run offers that are $49, $99, $159, $179, $199, $349, $399. I've run all sorts of different price points. The quality of the lead does not change. Price shoppers are everywhere. So it's one of the biggest misconceptions I see, that using a higher price point or running like a different type of offer that's going to attract higher quality leads means that you're just going to completely dodge all of the price shoppers, right? No matter what offer you run and what price point you use, you are going to attract price shoppers. It is inevitable. Just to give you, to really nail this point home, a loosely transcribed quote from Alex Hormozi, which if you don't know who he has a net worth of $100 million. He builds lots of sales process. He's worked with brick and mortar businesses similar to med spas before, so he definitely knows what he's talking about a lot more than I do. So if you don't trust my word, trust his word. He says he was giving advice to an acupuncture clinic, and what he said was you should run lead ads for some sort of free thing or something that's like $19 to $99. And if you're like, I want really high quality people, well, welcome to cold traffic. They won't be. But what you need to do is you need to create a sales process that creates qualified customers. And when he says creates, what he means is just adding filters to filter out the bad people and only keep the good ones. Right? That is a loosely transcribed quote directly from Alex Hormozi. So if you don't believe me, at least believe him, because he definitely has a lot more expertise than I do. At the end of the day, I would way rather have way more leads than I can handle with an incredible offer and focus on the sales process to filter out bad fits and upsell the good fits, rather than just struggling to scrape together a few leads every single month with a really mediocre offer just because my ego is too big to run a low ticket offer, right? I honestly think that's the biggest the biggest issue most of the time is that a lot of the times it's just like an ego thing. You're like, we will not be the discount med spa. We will not run discounts. We will always be full price no matter what. And I think that limiting belief for you is getting in the way of taking your market share in your local area. You're just going to have your competitors that continually take your customers from you. And then the individuals who take your customers from you, if they have a good sales process, those individuals turn into long-term customers that spend $2, $5, $10, $20,000 over the lifetime of them being a customer. And so you can complain about it all you want and say, oh, we are never going to discount. We are not the discount med spa, while everybody else just takes all of your customers. And you're wondering, why is nobody coming in for our free consultation with our amazing doctor, right? It's just, it doesn't work that way because strangers don't see the value in that. So how do we avoid attracting the wrong people? Well, the way that we actually avoid attracting the wrong people, or the way that we, attract people and then figure out who is the wrong person, is with proper filtering, expectation setting, and in-person selling. So these are going to be the 3 practical strategies that we're going to talk about here to identify who those wrong fit people are and identify who the right fit people are, so that you can not schedule with the wrong fits and schedule with the right fits. So number 1 is filtering. Filtering essentially means making it more difficult for someone to either become a lead or book an appointment, right? The more hoops that someone jumps through to get the offer, the more pain that they have, or the bigger their problem is, which means that there is a higher likelihood that they're qualified, right? Imagine if I ran an offer that was like, okay, we're going to give you 10 units of Botox for $1, right? That offer is incredible. But then in order to get that offer, you have to run a marathon or something, right? Like that, right? Like something completely crazy. Anyone who runs the marathon is probably a much higher quality lead than someone who wouldn't run the marathon, because most people would be like, oh, I'm not going to run 26 miles to get the 10 units of Botox. Like, I'll just go find a deal somewhere else, right? But if someone is willing to do the 26 miles, or they're willing to do that difficult thing, that there's a higher likelihood of them being a better fit. Right. And now, obviously, we're not making people run marathons, but price shoppers typically aren't going to go through 1,000 steps in order to get your amazing offer. So what are some practical filtering strategies here? Well, ads targeting is one of them. So the actual targeting that you use on Facebook, I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but you can target by zip code. You can target by like income. This is not my favorite way to filter out the bad fits. I think that it's better to get leads first and then use filtering strategies, rather than trying to filter people out before they ever even become a lead. Also, usually when you when you try to get super specific and granular with your ads targeting, your cost per lead is going to go way up. So it's going to cost you way more to get a lead. And that can usually just be super frustrating. And so I would rather not use any ad targeting. Like, usually with our Facebook ads, we just target, a specific age range, a specific gender, and then we just target your location within a certain mile radius. And that's about all that we do. Especially with local ads, you do not have to get fancy in Facebook. Running ads in Facebook is not the difficult part of this process. You can trust me on that. Number 2 here is adding steps before people can actually book an appointment with you. So for example, before someone can book an appointment with you, they have to fill out a questionnaire. They have to watch a 5-minute video on your website. They have to speak with one of your team members, so on and so forth, before they can actually get the opportunity to book. Because remember, the more hoops that someone has to jump through in order to get the offer, the individuals who do jump through those hoops are going to be much more qualified, because clearly that's an indication that their pain is deeper. They have a bigger problem that they're looking to get solved. Number 3 here is to increase the value of the content that you show people. So maybe the ad that you run itself is a little bit more valuable, a little bit more educational. Maybe you add some content to your landing page, like an FAQ or like a video on your landing page that people can watch in order to understand the process of how the treatment works. Maybe you host like an event, like an in-person event, where people can come in and get educated on the treatment and learn about how to solve their problem. All of these things are going to create higher quality leads, right? Even the price shoppers who just wanted the deal, like if they consume really high quality content that explains to them why they might need more than just one treatment, then a lot of the times that can turn somebody who had a false belief about like, oh, one treatment is going to fix my problem, into somebody who understands that it might take 2, 3, 4, 6 treatments in order to fix their problem with regular maintenance. And then number 4 here is to change the funnel entirely. So again, without getting too technical or into the details of like specific marketing tactics or strategies here, your funnel is basically just the steps that you walk somebody through from them becoming a lead to them booking an appointment or doing whatever action you want them to do. And so, for example, if right now you send people to a lead form on Facebook, that's usually the easiest way to get leads because people just submit their name, email, and phone number within Facebook. And so you're going to get a lot more like low quality leads that way because it's just easier to do. If you change that from sending people to a landing page on your website, now it's a little bit, there's one extra step. They have to go to a different website. They have to maybe read some content on your landing page. If you record what's called a VSL, that stands for video sales letter, and you send people to that video and they have to watch the video in full before they ever actually submit their information. Or maybe you host like a webinar, like a live webinar where people get on like a Zoom call with you and you educate them on the treatment before they can actually fill out an application or before they can get on the phone with your team. Or maybe you host an in-person event where people have to come in to your physical location and there's some kind of event that you host where you educate people on the treatment or how to solve their problem, and then you move from there. Like, for example, with the changing of the funnel, it's so crazy to me when I see people that think that they can, like, let's say you wanted more cool sculpting appointments or treatments, right? It's crazy to me that people think that they can just set up like a Facebook lead form where people just submit their name, email, and phone number for cool sculpting, and then that's going to be a good way to get people in the door and spend like multiple thousands of dollars on treatments. Like, that's just absurd to me. If you wanted to get more cool sculpting treatments, you would probably have to either do a webinar, so you're actually hosting a Zoom where you are educating people on how the treatment works, or you would have to do some kind of in-person event where you have people and all their friends coming in. There's free food, there's raffles, there's giveaways, and then there's lots of education from experts on how to fix their problem. Like, that is truly the only way that if you're running an ad directly to cool sculpting or something that's higher ticket, that's the only way that would work, right? Now, my general recommendation, because usually when we're adding filters, what's going to happen is your cost per lead is going to go up. So in other words, your ads are going to be more expensive. It's going to cost you more money in order to get one lead. And so my recommendation is to start with no filters or very little filters, and then add filters in when necessary. Because if you just want to go straight from 0 to 100 and just add all these things in, what's going to happen is you're going to have super high cost expensive leads, and it's just going to be super frustrating. So I usually like to start off by just sending people to a lead form on Facebook. That's the easiest way to get leads. And then having some kind of funnel where they have to speak with one of our team members or they have to speak with us in order to schedule the appointment, and keeping it like that. And then if there's a lead quality issue, then we add in filters. Maybe we add some content on a landing page, or maybe we create a landing page in the first place, or maybe we require that people fill out like a quick questionnaire or survey or quiz before they can actually become a lead, or before they can actually schedule an appointment or something like that. That's my general recommendation, is that you start with nothing just so that you can start getting leads. And then if it is an issue, you then add in filters. Number 2 is expectation settings. So setting expectations happens throughout your entire sales process. So you set expectations in the ad, you set expectations on the landing page, on the phone call, and also during the consultation when they're actually physically in your location. Oftentimes, a lead can seem low quality simply because you didn't set up proper expectations with them somewhere in your process. And since you've gotten them by surprise, or you've caught them off guard with something that they weren't expecting because you didn't set their expectations properly, they react negatively by telling you, oh, I'm not interested, or oh, that's out of budget. Those same people could have bought a package if they just knew what was going to happen at each stage. So if you properly set expectations, all of a sudden you're no longer surprising people, and they don't have that like adverse, like negative reaction when you try to sell something to them, right? Because they know that it's going to happen. And so some practical expectation strategies here. This comes down to just explaining what is going to happen next at every single stage in your process. So on the ad, you might want to mention in your copy, or maybe in the lead form or on the landing page or something, mention that your team is going to call them to see if this special or this promotion is a good fit. So now they're expecting a call from you. They no longer pick up the phone and they're like, why are you calling me, right? You already told them. They know that you're going to be calling. On the landing page, maybe you have like some FAQs on your landing page. Maybe you mention again on your landing page that your team is going to be calling them. And you're also going to explain a little bit on your landing page what is going to happen on this call. What are we going to talk about? What's going to happen on this call? On the call itself, you want to explain exactly what's going to happen on the call at the very beginning. You also want to explain what's going to happen during the consultation, and you want to mention that they're going to be receiving a treatment plan in person. They're going to sit down with an expert who is going to give them a treatment plan, and that the thing that they're coming in for is just an introductory package. It's not going to fix their problem entirely. If you can tell people that on the call and they still schedule an appointment, they're no longer going to be surprised when you're pitching them in person, right? A side note here is that you want to be prepared to handle objections such as how many do I need, what's the cost after the special, so on and so forth. Because when you say things like, hey, usually what we'll do is we'll run like a consultation where you'll sit down with our expert, they'll understand your goals, and then they'll create a treatment plan specifically for you that helps you achieve your goal within your budget. How does that sound? Sometimes people are just going to be like, sounds good. Other times people are going to be like, oh, okay, well, how much does it usually cost after the first one? You need to be prepared with what to say. If you babble and you're like, oh, well, I don't know, like we don't really know yet, and you just don't sound confident, then immediately they're just going to take control of the conversation. And so you need to be prepared, and you need to drill your team on handling objections over the phone, such as what's the cost after the first one? How many does it take? What results can I expect, so on and so forth. Then during the consultation, you need to set expectations as well. You need to explain exactly what's going to happen during the consultation right at the beginning of the conversation. So here's how this consultation is going to go. We're going to understand what your problems are, and then we're going to ultimately prescribe you with what, or not prescribe, but we're going to ultimately recommend what we believe is best for you in order to solve your problem. And you also want to ask for verbal confirmation of this. So you need to get them to say, yes, that is okay. I am good with the terms of this conversation. Again, so that there's no surprises. The whole goal with expectation setting is that at every single stage, there are no surprises. People know exactly what's going to happen, and you don't spring on them that, oh, all of a sudden now I'm trying to sell you something else. They understand that this is going to happen before they ever even show up. Number 3 here is in-person selling. So I saved the best one for last here. So many med spas could just focus on improving their in-person sales process, and their low quality lead issue would magically just fade into dust, right? A lot of med spa owners use low quality leads as an excuse for their inability to sell. And I'm just being completely real here. A lot of people will be like, oh, well, the leads that we're getting are low quality. We ran ads and they were just a bunch of price shoppers and tire kickers and time wasters. And then we dive into their sales process and it's like, oh, well, we're not doing anything right in the sales process right now. And so I don't think it's a low quality lead issue. It sounds like it might just be a lack of sales skill issue. Slapping a band-aid on a broken leg is basically what you do when you say, oh, we have lots of low quality leads, when you have no clue how to sell. A good in-person sales process turns low quality leads into long-term clients who leave your practice feeling excited about their decision to move forward with you, right? Practical in-person selling strategies. Number 1 would be to watch my ultimate in-person sales process video. I'm going to pop that up on the screen now. There's just way too much to cover in terms of how to run like an in-person sales process in this video right here. So I'll have that on the screen. Go ahead and click on that. Number 2 is to practice every single day. And this is no joke. It would be like saying like, oh, I want to make it into the NBA, but then I never practice and I never try to get better at basketball, right? If you have big, audacious goals for your business and you're not willing to practice the thing that literally makes you the money, right? Sales is literally what makes you money. And you're just like, oh, we're just going to wing it, or I'm just going to trust that my team is running the consultations the right way, or I'm going to trust that my team is handling objections. Like, imagine how ridiculous that would be if I was like, oh, I'm never going to, like, if I wanted to become a 3-point shooter in the NBA and I never shot 3-pointers, like, you have to practice sales. Sales is a skill that you get better at with practice. Something that one of my coaches, or someone that I worked with as a coach, told me is that you should try to have at least 5 sales conversations every single week, whether that means real sales conversations where you're actually doing consultations with customers, or whether that means 5 mock sales conversations. You should have some combination of mock sales calls, or mock sales conversations, and real sales conversations, also known as consultations, within a given week. And every single time you have one of these conversations, you should be attempting to improve something. It could be any part of the process. You should be attempting to improve. Then the third thing here is you need to hold your team and yourself accountable to this. So it's not just like, oh yeah, we're going to practice sales every once in a while, or, you know, when we have some free time. It's okay, there is a specific set time every single day, Monday through Friday, where we take a half hour or an hour to sit down and practice sales. And we take turns being the consultant and also the person receiving the consulting, right? And it's also like, it's not just, okay, I'm assuming that my team is doing everything right in the consultations. Behind closed doors, we're just assuming they're doing a good job. There needs to be some accountability in place. place so that you understand how these conversations are going. I do know that some people record the consultations that happen because they have like a sign on their door that basically says beyond this point there's, you know, recording is allowed or whatever the sign says, right? You don't necessarily have to go to that extreme, but there needs to be some kind of accountability as to how are these conversations going, and are they, you know, doing the consultations in the right way. Again, sales is a skill and you can't get good at it by winging it. You can't just walk into these consultations and just assume that you're going to be good at it and then come out of it and be like, oh, they were a price shopper, like they weren't good, when it's truly your sales skill that's lacking. So quicker video today to wrap up. If you'd be interested to hear how we could potentially guarantee you a minimum of 10 to 20 qualified aesthetic consultations that actually show up every single month, or you don't pay us a single dime, feel free to go to wellnessleads.co or click the first link in the description down below. Watch the video on that page, and then below that video, there will be a button to book a call directly with me, and then we can chat and see if it would be a good fit in the first place. So hope to see you there, and I'll see you in the next one.